The Big T. The Big T.
Welcome to a special edition of the Big T podcast here on Tennis Channel as we wander back a couple of hours. Arthur Fils picking up his first ever Masters 1000 title. As for Coco, she's picked up her second WTA 1000 title here in Cincinnati. First title in over 10 months for the iconic American, and she has a lot of momentum heading into the US Open. Delighted to welcome you in to this Big T podcast. Andrea Petkovic alongside Prakash Amritraj. We're going to have a lot of fun over the next hour.
I've missed you guys. I think it's been since Rome that we haven't gotten together.
It
so
has been.
Thank you for inviting me into your humble abode.
We are so happy to have you, Prakash. Last time
Oh
we
my.
had you talk about, prize money and all these
Yes.
rules and everything. But today we want you to be happy, so we will have you talk about the champions of the Cincinnati Open. Where do you want to start, Arthur or Coco?
Let's also not forget, Andrea did confuse hundreds with
Yes.
honeys last time. Let us never, ever, ever forget that. Well, what can we say? These two were by far and away the best all week. Coco especially. Let's start with Coco. All the way through, she seemed to just get better and better and better with every single match. She dropped that first set to Samsonova when she was kind of finding her rhythm in that opening match. After that 6-1 third set, she started getting better and better. And after that Ann Lee match, I think she went up a level against Buskova. 6-2, 6-2 against Marta Kostyuk. That was a wild scoreline. I thought it was going to be much tighter, and Jess didn't seem to have the legs she had in the previous matches, long ones today. But again, Coco on the serve, forehand, and net game, absolutely exceptional.
And then Arthur, where did you watch the match? Let's put it this way, Mark.
I watched it at the hotel.
In your bed?
I went back to the Tennis Channel to watch it on the hotel.
Did you?
Channel
were
41,
you,
unless you want to just check.
It's
There we
40.
go.
It's 40. It's 48 in my room on the 4th floor. So
I'm in the
He's in the
penthouse.
penthouse.
Yeah, I'm in
That's
the
right.
penthouse.
That's right.
Yeah.
Different level.
No. I was in the whirlpool.
give
I've
us
got
the
two TVs.
scene. Give us the scene. Were you in bed? Were you in your whirlpool? What were you
Well, maybe
eating?
let's not paint the whole scene here. I don't need to know all that.
Why not, Prakash? What are you worried about? Are you worried about I'm going to talk about my pecs?
Yes, just lose the shirt. Pull a Frances Tiafoe. Just TC after dark.
I watched it. I've watched a lot of tennis this week. It's been great. I mean, it's actually super quick to go back. So once we finish work here, you can jump back to the hotel, go and watch. Interesting enough, I'm going to just sort of pivot away from Arta for the moment. It was a couple of nights ago when I was watching Coco play, and I actually sort of messaged
Against the Marta match. Or which one?
It was against Marta.
Yeah.
And I was talking, I was actually messaging Hawkeye and messaging Lindsay and saying, this is about as well as I've ever seen her serve.
Yeah.
And this is about as well as I've seen her play. I mean, is it just me watching this and just feeling that this is the case? But that was what was coming at me from the TV screen. And it's not let up throughout the whole tournament. And it was interesting, I think, to see and hear Jess talk about it. I think the thing about somebody as great as Coco, when she's playing that well, and by the way, we are hoping she's going to join us here pretty soon at the at the desk, is that you don't feel as though your normal game's good enough. And so you actually play under your best because you are forcing it all the time. And I think that we saw that today. I mean, it's easy to look and go, Jess didn't serve well, but it's like, well, where are the 3 points? Where are you going to get them from?
So I'm raising my hand because I think I'm the only one in this group who actually has played Coco before. When she was 15 years old, I played her in the semifinal of Linz, and she ended up winning the title. That was her first title of her career. Yes, I did lose to a 15-year-old.
Oh, I lost to Leighton Hewitt when he was 15, don't worry.
Okay, good. So you know how it feels.
I've done that and many other things.
Outlier 15-year-olds here.
But you absolutely nailed it. She made the court feel so small. I felt like I had to get closer and closer to the lines, and eventually I started missing. And the one thing that I feel like she's back to basics, back in the day, if you can say so, it was impossible to break her. She was going for first and second serve. She was serving second serves at around 95 miles an hour. And there was a double fault here and there. But still, I had no chance breaking her. I think I lost 6-4, 6-4, and it was a break each in the set. And she wasn't missing her forehand. She wasn't necessarily putting as much pressure on you. And this is the scary part, because now it looks like her forehand is stable and she can put pressure off that side on you.
She looked so aggressive with the forehand all week. To your point about the serve, going for it, I think it's a similar principle for her on the forehand side. Regardless of whether she's serving double faults, missing some forehands here and there, the mechanics of going after the forehand, going after the serve, the racket head speed you creates a more replicable shot, especially when the pressure is up. When you kind of ease off and you decelerate off a more tentative shot, whether it's the forehand, the second serve, it's easier to go off on you. And I think we've seen that in pockets with Coco where the serve will go off for a bit and then come back. Here, she's being much more consistent. And I think a lot of it has to do with just going after it, that and the serve, the forehand and the serve consistently.
And also the forehand line, I thought Andrea was back. I mean, I think at times when she hasn't felt confident, she's gone a lot of forehands cross court. Looked at the numbers there at the end, 60% down the line, which forces you to take your backhand, if you're Jess, into her backhand, her strength. I think I haven't played her, but I have sat on the court coaching against her when Emma Raducanu played her in Rome. And I think the one thing about her forehand that you don't recognize, excuse me, as much on TV as you do when you're sitting there watching how difficult it is for players to play against.
Oh, it's so heavy.
Is the bounce. And sometimes when you watch it and it's actually short, by the time it arrives at the opponent or the player that you're working with, it's above their shoulders and you're fighting your court position all the time. You're never comfortable standing there waiting for the ball to come through. And when you look at the way that she's kind of eased her way through this to the title, it underlines that. She is a very uncomfortable player. She may not hit a lot of forehand winners, but she makes your life so uncomfortable with that shot when she's feeling confident that you can't get into the game.
Yeah, and that forehand down the line is so important because if you look back in history of tennis, at least in women's tennis, all the weaker forehands, quote unquote, which again, this is not a weak forehand. It's the best forehand in the room here.
Right.
Still,
Are you picking yours up?
My forehand was good, but it was never as good as Coco's. But that's what I mean. The forehand is weaker compared to her backhand, but it's not a weak shot per se, especially not now, how much she has improved it. But what I wanted to say, if you look back at weaker forehands in the women's game, they all played their best tennis when they were able to seamlessly change up the line. I'm thinking of Kara Wozniacki, I'm thinking of Jelena Jankovic, I'm thinking of Martina Hingis. Their special sauce was taking the forehand up the line. If you don't move well, you miss it a little bit, you put it short cross court, and now you're the one running left and right, and the backhand is too good. And that's exactly what Coco has been doing here, and that's how she played against me in Linz when she was 15. I believe it was 20. Well, when she was 15, she was very young. But that forehand,
What were you then? 33.
Jesus, Petchey is he's going to town. He's like, you know what? The tournament's over. It's the Big T podcast after dark here. I'm going to just go after Petkovic right now.
Well, I'm also glad to say that as long as Coco is not in the room here, I'm still the best tennis player in the room here as well. So everybody pipe down.
We'll go with that.
Everybody pipe down.
Your point about the forehand, there are added layers to why it makes Coco so dangerous. She can win so many different ways. And we've seen her, probably more than anyone, when she's not playing well, somehow find a way to win. It is so difficult to bet against her. When she starts playing offensive tennis and beating people straight with the offense, that's a new layer. So when she's got the forehand cooking, you know she can chase you down with the defense. She has so many weapons behind it. She volleys well. Today she was chipping and coming in, knocking off some volleys also.
Yeah, she was playing really well at the net.
You're under so much more pressure mentally with, oh my God, I have to do so much more with this forehand that she's striking, rather than just kind of, let me see if I can get a few more in play and let her beat herself out with it. She's threatening you with everything that's there and with everything she's threatening to do if you could put her somewhere else.
Is she the favorite for the US Open now, Mark?
I don't know if she's favorite. I think there's a number of favorites. I have to say, when looking at the BetMGM odds, I feel like Sabalenka's resume is doing an awful lot of lifting at the moment, given the way that she's played coming in, and understandably so. I mean, I kind of feel that I could argue a case for, Gauff, Swiatek, Sabalenka to be all sitting on the same, number as pre-tournament favorites. Rybakina wouldn't be far away behind her. Jess certainly wouldn't be behind her, or Osaka. I mean, I can argue a good case for 6 of those players to go in there with pretty similar odds.
How would you put it, Prakash, if it was up to you?
I like this list. I'd probably play a little musical chairs here. I actually may put put Iga and Coco ahead of Sabalenka at the moment, just confidence-wise.
Yeah.
And I'd probably bump Andrea down a little bit. Brilliant, Roland Garros champ, of course, but hard courts, I think there are other players who are in better form. I'd put Osaka and perhaps Rybakina, if Rybakina's healthy, ahead of Andreeva, and right behind that, or perhaps in that same tier is Jess and Amanda just under that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I would put Swiatek, Gauff in the first two spots.
Yep.
Maybe even at the same number. I would put Sabalenka after that just because of her resume at the US Open. I would then place Rybakina, parentheses, if she's healthy, behind that, and then I would have Pegula right behind that, and then Osaka and Nisimova in the same tier. That's how I would do it, I think.
Okay.
It's an exciting time for tennis, though. I mean, I haven't been as excited about draws for a long time in terms of where the seeds are going to come out. You know, you're suddenly looking, Iga's at 8. You know, where's that going to pop out in the draw? Which side of the draw is that going to be on? How significant is that going to be? How many people are they going to have to run through to try and win it? Because obviously the mileage is going to be different.
That's a good point that you're making, because Iga is 8, which means she will face either Rybakina, Sabalenka, Pegula, or Gauff in the quarters. Is that correct?
I think that's how. Yes.
That's how correct. Actually, both the men and women, I don't think collectively I've been as excited for both draws to come out in quite some time, if you look at both of them.
Yeah, that's true. Do you want to talk more about the women, or do you want to talk about Atiafis a little bit? What do you guys think?
I wouldn't mind just talking about Jess. I just think that, you know, longevity is definitely, for me, a good barometer of success, and it should be part of your resume when you go through. I think the fact that she's still capable of doing what she's doing, over 4 consecutive years inside the world's top 10 right now, taking her game against this heavily spun world that she's trying to face, and being as successful as she has been, I think is just, I just wanted to definitely give her flowers, because I think it's an incredibly difficult thing to play the way that she does and be as effective without beating yourself at times throughout the course of the year. So to consistently put in against these players, I think is a huge tribute to her work ethic.
And she's continuing to improve. All year long, her serve has become a better shot. She's averaging more aces. She's getting more free points. She's creating more +1 opportunities, continuing to evolve. And look, I know we're all about results. We're all about tennis, but it's not always what you do. It's also how you do it. And Jess has always carried herself in a way that has been brilliant for the sport. She has been always fun to watch, and she continues to do what she does. 2 titles this year, big ones. Dubai and in Charleston, which is very, very tough, that event leading into the clay court season. So it was a shame. I think if she didn't have those 3 setters, it would have been a tighter fight today.
I was feeling that yesterday, even though I had such a pleasure. Mark and me were calling the match between Swiatek and
Such
Pegula.
a great match to watch.
It was such a pleasure to watch and call and commentate. But at the same time, I had this nagging in the back of my mind. I was like, oh, they will be exhausted tomorrow. Oh, this is going to be tough. And unfortunately, it was exactly that. But still, as you both said, Jess Pegula, an incredible player that keeps amazing us, I think. And we've been in tennis for so long. So it's not easy. We've all become cynics at this point. It's not easy to amaze us and mesmerize us. But I feel like every week we sit here and we talk about Jess Pegula and how she has yet again somehow surprised and amazed us.
Coco is on her way. Hopefully she's going to be just a couple of minutes away from walking to the right of us through that door, which is why we're going to continue talking women for the time being. Do you expect to see Sabalenka bounce back?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think.
Is it as easy as that?
But will she bounce back now?
Are you talking macro? Or are you talking US Open?
US Open.
US Open.
She's definitely in that top 3 for favorites. I know we can't always look at the resume as everything. Confidence plays a huge role, but all she has to do to find confidence, unlike some people where you have to talk yourself into it, she's just got to look at the evidence she's already created. I think it's a lot tougher to talk yourself into it if you haven't seen concrete evidence. That's what makes your first big win so huge. Arthur Fils is in a different category in his career, having gotten over the line, than telling himself, I belong there, I belong there. Now he knows he belongs there. Aryna Sabalenka has done this too well for too long. She has been a very clear world number 1, even though she's lost some tight finals here and there for several years now. And she's only become more complete. When she plays well, there is no weakness in her game. All she's trying to do is now add more elements. That backhand slice, be a little sharper at the net. it's a funny thing, sport. The margins are small, even for the world number one. We talked about it. You lose that Haley Baptiste match in Madrid. All of a sudden, it's just, you lose a tough 3-setter. You lose 1-6 left set. You lose a match you should have won at Roland Garros. You think you're playing bad. But, you're still Arina Sabalenka, and all she's got to do is look in the mirror and remember that.
Mark, as a coach, if you had a player now like Arina Sabalenka, clearly a champion, clearly has everything it requires to win this major title again, how would you go about these 10, 12 days that you have between a tough loss against Sarah Bailek here, where she was up 5-1 in the first set in the tiebreak, 4-1 in the second set, and now is going to the US Open to defend the title? What would be your approach as a coach? What would be the conversations like?
Am I right in saying she's playing with Novak, right, in the mixed?
Yeah.
Yes, she is, yeah. Number one seed.
That would be my thing. Hey, go chat to Novak. Go for dinner. Go to talk to him about his toughest moments, and go and talk to him about how he got out of those moments. And that would be it. Go to somebody that has been where you've been and where you are, and go and figure it out, because you are good enough. There's no question about it. You know how to win this tournament.
Yep.
What is it that's going on in your mind that's making you, at certain situations in a set, panic like we haven't seen you panic? Is it the drills that we're doing? Have we tried to incorporate too much? She talked a little bit in Toronto about going back to basics. Let's go back to basics. This game is basics. It's about repeatable. Just seen it out there. That's unplayable because it's repeatable every single point. You have to find solutions against it. Yep. Arena's was slightly different because it was unplayable, because she was just hitting winners past you, and you couldn't respond to it. I would keep it very simple. There would be no knee-jerk reaction, but I would go. I'm a big believer, and I have been when I have coached, in going to get lots of different opinions from people. Ultimately, the player, yourselves, are going to make a decision that you think's right for the right fit for your personality and the way that everything's going, because ultimately it's on you whether you succeed or fail. But I've been very open in going to ask many coaches about, is this the right thing to do with their shot? Are they playing the right way? Are they athletic enough to be able to play the way that they want to play? Should they try and keep points shorter? So yeah, I would just go for dinner with Novak.
And different scenario. You have Coco Gauff, just won Cincinnati Open. You have to sort of massage the next 7 days before the next huge. It's also not an easy, Now all the eyeballs will be on her again. Yep. It's not an easy feat either. How would you go about that as a coach? What are the conversations like there?
I think she's done. I think just idling your engines is a little easier, to be honest. I think that the next few days are going to be super easy. I mean, I would imagine they'll get a little PJ up to New York right now, get themselves in the city. Don't maybe go there
also, this
as
is
quickly.
How few PJs, private jets, I have taken. Every time Mark has dropped PJ in our podcast, which he has a few times, I always think, pajama? And then it clicks after like a couple of seconds. Sorry. Yeah, okay, so after the PJ, what would you do?
You can come with me tonight. And I would I would try and stay out of the circus as much as.
Oh, but this is tough because she is a brand ambassador.
It's not supposed to be easy to win these things.
That's true. But she's such a huge superstar.
There are superstars, and then there's Coco Gauff in America at the US Open in New York.
In the fashion capital.
All of those things put together. But it's funny, she's 22 years old, and she acts with this level of maturity that she's done this for 20 years. She's so used to this life. She's been living it for so long. I think she'll be able to handle it well. Her biggest issue is she's just going to have to, as you say, idle the engine. She's going to really have to just calm herself, take herself almost away from a lot of that energy, because it's draining.
So would you have her do everything on like a couple of days, or would you split it over all the appearances that she probably has, or would you split it over the week? You know what I'm trying to say? Or would you try to front load it and then have her focus on everything else in the end?
It's interesting. I think that's a very personal choice.
Oh, okay.
I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
You might want, 2 10-hour days, and then you don't have to look at anything else. You can just sit on the couch, play tennis, come and be quiet in your room, kind of shut off socially, get ready for the Open and all the noise. Or a couple things each day so it doesn't feel like that much of a push. I would say it's probably a bit of a personal choice.
What would you consult? Yeah, how would you consult? I think that's really difficult.
She's so mature, for 22. she's also mature enough to choose what she wants to do and what she doesn't want to do. Andy Murray, being around Andy for a long time, he chose to not have many of these engagements because he was just wanting to play tennis. And that was his choice. I mean, for sure, you leave a few greenbacks on the table because you don't want to go off and do all those things. But, I'm sure Coco has scheduled her week in a way that A, that tennis doesn't get in the way of the tennis, and B, it's not too many trips in and out of the city and everything else. But listen, I was listening to you with Arthur on the desk here talking about this is a glass half full studio.
That's right. That's right.
And you say to Coco 12 months ago from where you were here in Cincinnati to where you are now, whatever problems are coming her way, they're only good problems. There's not one bad problem. And you, Andrea, what would you do?
I don't know. I'm asking out of pure curiosity because I don't know what I would do. I mean,
you were the best player in here, so you
I am the best player.
You would have had all the commercial deals that we didn't have. So how did you schedule them?
I was but this was a different time. Also, I have to say there wasn't social media around as much when I was playing. My best years were between 2011 and 2015 was the beginning of it, but there was mostly Twitter back then. Instagram wasn't as big.
Petkovic epoch.
TikTok,
they call it back in Germany.
No, there was
epoch,
Angie was a much better player. Angie Kerber was a much better player, but I didn't like to do any of these things, and I lost a lot of money because of it. But, I don't know if now
Which is why you're stuck here with me and Prakash.
Well, maybe now I would have done it differently. Well, maybe now, who knows? That's why I'm asking out of curiosity.
But also you have your priorities at the time.
Yeah.
If you thought you could do that and it not affect your tennis, you probably would have. But if you needed to focus on your tennis, that was the choice, and that was the right choice.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, we never know, because maybe I would have been better if I hadn't done that.
But now you've made that choice, so we're going to say it's the right choice. That's how we look at the past.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think. Listen, I think it's got a lot of uncertainty, which I love about sport. I think there's every single possibility. You can look at a player like Svitolina and feel as though she's got a legit chance to win in New York. I mean, that just makes it for me so exciting.
Alexiala.
Yeah, I mean, so many great players that have got a chance of going all the way. Anna Samova's going to light it up. I mean, it's a home Grand Slam. We saw how well she played. So no, on the women's side, I think it's going to be great. We are still waiting for Coco.
We are still waiting. Yes, I'm going to steer the conversation to one more player I really want to talk about, because she's been my favorite player here, maybe.
Ooh.
Sarah Bailey.
I'm in the fan club.
I watched her match against Aryna Sabalenka, her entire match against Madison Keys, and I watched the entire match against Coco Gauff. And the whole entire time she was on the court, I kept thinking, man, she's so cool. She's so cool. And the reason I say that is we always talk about these great grand champions who win majors, who break records, who are the wolf in winter, which we will also talk about, Novak Djokovic's new documentary. But we sometimes forget the players that do the best they can with what they have been given. And Sarah Bailey is not very tall. Yeah. She doesn't have the same power that an Aryna Sabalenka, that a Madison Keys has, but she's tricky, she's smart, and she's feisty, and I love that. And I was just sitting there nodding, like this, putting a beer on my belly. And I was nodding, I was like, this is a cool one. I love her. What did you think?
She competes like crazy.
Yeah, I loved your interview also with her, by the way. It was so cool.
It was amazing to see her personality come out. I hadn't had a chance to chat with her before. She was a delight to have here. And you could tell how much she was enjoying the moment of having those kind of wins. And you want that. At the end of the day, we're all kids who had a dream of being able to play here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Look
at this. Come on in. Come on in.
Okay. Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
Well done.
Congrats. Well done.
Thank you.
We kicked Prakash out for you.
Sorry.
I hope that's okay for you.
Yeah, I think.
Coco, congrats. Thanks for joining us. I know you got a lot of obligations.
We won't keep you very long.
You got a nice big smile there. Second Cincy title. Tennis players aren't normally in the perfection business. They're usually in just the winning business. But it's nice when the two come together once in a while, because that's how it felt to us watching it. How did it feel on the court?
Yeah, I think today it was playing really well, honestly. Jess is such a tough person and player to play. And I think today I was just focused on trying to serve well because I know she's one of the best returners on tour. So, yeah, and honestly, I think I just stayed level-headed. I mean, when I got broken at that 5-3 game, I mean, she hit some deep returns in the court, and I felt like, you know, I just got to let it go, and I have a lot of confidence in my return, too. So, yeah, I'm really happy to hold this trophy again.
Yeah, congratulations, Coco. And you mentioned in your speech, you mentioned what a difference a year makes. And last year, you were here crying in the parking lot, and now you are here with the trophy. I was wondering, when did it click for you? Because today, the whole world saw that your game was coming together. But I feel like players sometimes know before that, oh, I think this is working. When was that for you?
Honestly, I don't really know. That's a good question. But I feel like in China last year, I think the serve started to click a little bit. That's when I felt like, okay, I'm getting a little bit more consistency. But I feel like overall, the game, I think my match against Belinda at Wimbledon, I felt like that was a match where I was like, okay, like I felt like I was playing really good. And even after, you know, Serena, who was there in Belinda's box, like came up to me and said that some of the best.
That's nice.
Yeah, they're both, Belinda and her are both great people on and off the court, but she came up to me and said it was like some of the best tennis she's seen me play, and we've had our battles against each other, so I was like, okay, maybe I am in the right direction, and playing Belinda, who I think grass favors her more in that matchup, so I feel like that's the match where it starts to click, and I think even though I had the disappointment at Wimbledon, I went to sleep that night, and I was like, I feel like I'm in the right direction, and now I'm like, regardless of what happens, you know, at US Open, I do feel like I'm headed in the right direction, and I can feel myself becoming more of a complete player. So, yeah, and these matchups only give me more confidence.
Nice.
Coco, this isn't a normal Sunday for you, is it? You've just won a WTA 1000.
Yeah.
You've just released a couple of tennis stories on the Tennis Channel app.
I was supposed to say that in the speech. I wasn't supposed to, but like I was like, oh, I'm gonna say it if I win, and of course I forgot. And I forgot to thank Kyle, who's one of the tournament hitters who's been hitting with me all week. So there's a couple things I forgot.
We can do that.
Yeah.
You can do that there. The serve, obviously, fashion in tennis. You've got the Xena effect,
Yes.
the one and only Xena Garrison. You were the exec producer of that. I was looking at the Ball Kids. I think they've got the CG2s on, haven't they?
Yeah, they have the Del Reys on, yeah.
Is this what world domination looks like?
Honestly, maybe. Honestly, it was crazy. When I was first round, I think I lost this first set like 6-1, and I looked down and saw my name on one of the Ball Kids shoes, and I was like, cannot lose first match in a tournament when the Ball Kids are wearing my shoes. So yeah, maybe that did psych some people out, and I think one of Evan King actually came up to me. He was like, do you know the Ball Kids are wearing your shoes is sick? And I was like, yeah, I know. That's why I was like, had so much confidence to have a deep run here, but. Honestly, it's a pretty good week on and off the court for me. So, yeah, hopefully you guys like the two short films, and I have a great team behind me that helped, put this together. And I'm glad, obviously the fashion and tennis one is really cool, but my favorite is the Xena effect, I think, because she's such a underrated story, but such a vital, important part of tennis, and having people of color, Black women play tennis. So I'm hoping that you guys enjoy that one.
Yeah, watch it all on the Tennis Channel and the Tennis Channel app. Executive producer Coco Gauff, and last question before we let you go. This is a tough one. You won a huge title here, but a bigger tournament is just around the corner. How will you time manage your celebration now? Tomorrow I'm gonna get my hair braided. So, I don't even remember what I did 2 years ago when I won.
It's a Sunday night.
Yeah. I went
throw
home
shapes.
2 years ago because I think it was on a Saturday final, or I don't remember. I went home, but I'm not going home. I'm going straight to New York. So I don't know, just chill, get my nails done, hair done, and tonight, pack. Chick-fil-A is closed, unfortunately, on Sundays. That was my plan, but I guess I'll have to try tomorrow.
Everyone was laughing.
Coco, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your second Cincy title. Obviously,
Congrats.
a great omen the last time you won here.
Yes.
We know what happened after that.
Yeah.
We wish you well in New York.
Thank you.
Congratulations and
Congrats.
good luck.
Thank you.
It's been really special to watch Coco Gauff play as well as she has. That's all for this segment of The Big T. It's actually not The Big T, it's the Andrea Petkovic podcast. We'll be back with a bit more of that.
The Big T.
Big T had some big news. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz back, and he is going to play at the US Open. We were unsure. Was he? Wasn't he? He's going to come back, and he's not only back, he's going to be back with the legend that's Serena Williams the week before, of course, in the mixed doubles. Can't wait to see the two-time champion back. Obviously, lots swirling around. How fit is he? Well, one thing's for sure, he's certainly a lot fitter than Jannik Sinner, who unfortunately, post-Wimbledon, got a knee problem, and we knew he was in the hospital in Milan having it checked out. Everyone hoping he was going to make the trip stateside, but unfortunately the Wimbledon champion will not be there. Big connotations, of course, for everybody else that's in the draw at the US Open on the men's side, particularly for our champ here, Arthur Fils, Andrea. That opens the draw up on one side or the other.
Well, I was just talking to his coach, Ivan, in the Players Lounge, and he told me that 10 years ago, when he coached Marin Cilic won the title here in Cincinnati. Wow. So it was a nice synchronicity. Is that the word?
Synchronicity.
Yeah, I think.
Look at me.
Well done.
My English is so good. It's like, where are you from? Your English is so good. I asked him then, how did Marin Cilic then play at the US Open? And he lost third round. But he right away said, hey, this kid is different. And I think we talked about it earlier today, Prakash. This kid is different. His mind is some of the strongest mind that I have encountered at such an early stage. Maybe similar to Carlos Alcaraz, actually, who also had that when he came on tour, also had that
innate belief.
Exactly. That exuberant self-belief without having any arrogance to him at all. And I feel like Arthur is very similar to this. Would you agree, or is that
I would say so, because there are times where it can be off-putting, but there's such a charm to it, and it comes from a genuine place that
there's no arrogance.
No, I think we all fall in love with it.
Yeah. How did
Listen,
you
need bulletproof. You need to be Kevlar out there with the confidence. I mean, everybody's coming to steal your dream. I don't mind arrogance. I don't mind.
No.
And I don't. I mean, he comes across in a beautiful way. Yeah. His definitely doesn't need rubbing down. He doesn't have rough edges. He's. I just think the most exciting thing about him is that he's got more ceiling. I think he's playing great, but I still feel like his game can be even more impactful. And I think that's probably the most exciting thing.
To that ceiling, Petch, look, I'm taking this far, but I'll stand by it. If he maximizes with the tools he has and continues to improve, does all the things, he's in the Sinner-Alcaraz conversation, because when he's playing at his peak, he can do everything on a tennis court.
And he takes the racket out of your hand.
He takes the racket out of your hand. In some ways, obviously, they're different players, but there's an element of Carlos Alcaraz there, because he's able to do whatever he wants out there. And I think some of his problem before is also the discipline. He talked about it when he was here. I said, your backhand this week, if you needed to stay with it cross-court, he said, you know how difficult that was to me? That's brutal. He said the thing he's most proud of is being able to actually commit to a tactic consistently. He said, after a set, I'd just be like, I'm done, and move on to something else. That mental staying power is a big deal. When you can harness that kind of raw talent, put it together with discipline, sky's the limit. There's no reason why he can't win multiple slams, different surfaces too.
What do you think about the odds to win the US Open, Mark? Maybe for those who are only listening, Carlos Alcaraz is on number 1, Zverev 2nd, Djokovic 3rd, Shelton 4th, and then Arthur Fils is the 7th favorite to win the title behind Hodar and Fritz. He's at the same plus 1,200 with Taylor Fritz. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting you even got Medvedev on there again. I think that comes from the past. I mean, he's down at Winston-Salem this week playing and trying to find his confidence. Not saying that he can't, but it seems like it's actually not a bad bet if you were looking at sort of trying to get some decent odds for your money. I think I would have Fritz in the same bracket as Ben, if I'm being honest. I'd probably put Hodar in the same bracket as that. I feel as though all of those, and Fiso and Tiafoe. I can't really split them. I think a lot will depend on the draw, and a lot will depend on who they have to come up. I wouldn't have Alcaraz going in as a firm favourite for this one, given the lack of tennis that he's had. If it was best of 3, I think you could argue it. Best of 5, a lot tougher.
Yeah, and he has done it before. Alcaraz, the French Open, that he beat Alexander Zverev in 5 sets in the final, but he was out for a month, not 4 months. That's a lot.
Out for a month, and if I remember correctly, I think he had some good clay results before he was out for that month. So just kind of missed a few weeks there. I don't think he was able to play Madrid, but Carlos Alcaraz, I think, is a little different than Yannick Sinner. Yannick Sinner, the way he plays, there's a steadiness to it, which then keeps getting better and better, which he can kind of play his way in sometimes. Carlos, he's so lights on, and he can sometimes be so lights off. He's had some odd losses at the US Open in past years. So
He's had some good haircuts as well. For those that are just listening, you won't be able to see this, but this was the buzz cut.
You know what? The scary thing, I think he can pull off whatever.
I think
he's got such flair. He's got such swag. He wants to shave his head, great. He wants to do whatever, I think it works. But Carlos Alcaraz, until he steps on the court, we just don't know how consistent he is. If he does have a 5-setter and gets through it, and how's that wrist going to feel? We don't know. So a fully healthy Carlos Alcaraz, of course, he's in the top couple of favorites there. But you look at the rest of them, it's exactly what you said, Petch. What I get so excited about, this is, I think, even more open than Roland Garros when Sinner goes out. Because even if Sinner's in a draw, I think it feels a little more closed than if Carlos is in the draw, but his health is in question.
Yeah.
Because Carlos can have more shocking losses than a Yannick Sinner. So I think all these guys...
Plus not having played.
Plus having not played. So all these guys there, depending on the draw, depending on how a couple of matches shake out, everyone's got a shot. If you told me that one of those guys walks away with the title, Petch, I could see it happen.
So who I would put ahead of Medvedev, Brendan Nakashima.
And Lerner too.
Oh, you got to take Lerner in there as well. Yeah. Lerner and Nakashima certainly have a better shot at a deeper run.
And especially Brendan Nakashima's serve has been outrageously good. And we all know that the US Open plays quicker. A lot of players have said that Cincinnati this year plays a little slower than it has in the past 2 years, but the US Open, I'm pretty sure, stays in that medium to quick pace. So Brendan Nakashima could be a good bet too. Would you think he could do it mentally?
I mean, I think it's a long shot. I think it's a long shot to suddenly go from playing great in Masters 1000s and then suddenly go and pick up a major. I think that's a completely different beast than anything he's done. But I do think that the American Armada that are traveling from Mason, Ohio, on both the men's and the women's side, have an unbelievable shot of picking up the major at the US Open. I really do. Whether it's Ben, whether it's Brandon, whether it's Taylor, I honestly, I think they've got an unbelievable shot, as they do with Jess and obviously Coco and everybody else that's that they have on the women's side. So I mean, it's for Americans, and as a Brit, it's it's painful.
As a German too, we have Alexander Zverev, thank God, but we have virtually nobody else.
No, but he's one. I mean, not only the Roland Garros, the finals of Wimbledon, they got to be going for his 3rd Slam final of the year. It's nuts.
But you know, when you have only one, how that feels, like the anxiety is through the roof.
We saw some shots there of Lerner Tien. When you talk about Tien and Nakashima, they're going to crack the top 10. The way they're playing, they're not too far off right now. But as Petch talked about, it's their first sort of foray into this level of matches. And as you climb further and further up Mount Everest, it gets tougher to breathe. And Tiafoe, Shelton, even Tommy Paul, who's made the semis of a Slam, Taylor Fritz, of course, who's made the final of the US Open, they're a little more used to those big matches at slams. So if they have a breakthrough and get to a final or possibly win it in an open draw, I feel like it's a little bit more feasible. I think mentally it's a little bit bigger of a lift emotionally for a Lerner or Nakashima to get across the line and fully win it right now. Exactly. Give them literally 12 months. Lerner already made the quarters in Australia. They are heading there tomorrow morning. They may finish in the top 10 the way they're playing right now. But I think just a little bit more experience before perhaps getting over the line. Not to say couldn't make a semi or something like that, but I think winning a Slam, you just have to have a little bit of that feel, which the other Americans already do.
What I love about this North American hardcore season has been the fact that Taylor Fritz wins Washington, D.C., loses first round. Trust me, I'm going to turn this positive. Ben Shelton wins Montreal, loses first round. What I want to say with that is Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz, as have Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, and Rafael Nadal, and Andy Murray for that fact, have made it seem so easy to win Masters 1000, travel to the next city, sit 3 hours in an airplane, go hit a little, and then play a next match the next day, and then again win the Masters 1000. We have forgotten how hard it is. And so even though it must have been painful for Taylor and for Ben to lose early in the next tournament, I think it's actually, I've mentioned it on the Big T a lot. I think Mark is tired of hearing it, but my good friend from New York, Caitlin, she said that she would like to have amateurs at the Olympic Games do the discipline first.
Fantastic.
Right?
Fantastic.
So you can see how difficult it actually is. And I'm not saying Ben and Taylor are amateurs, quite the contrary. They are the best players in the world, and not even they can pull it off. And so this is how outrageously otherworldly these handful of legends that we have in the sports are, and I think we should give them even more respect than they already get.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You're right.
It's pretty good. It's very good.
They normalized what seemed like virtually impossible, and that's why they're immortals, because they literally did. I mean, they had periods there where they were winning 54 out of 56 Masters 1000s. I mean, there was only 2 years where Soderling and Ferrer got them at the back end of the year. They got them at the Paris Masters when they were all tired.
Yeah.
And it's just insane stuff. Somebody else that's been pretty insane, that's going to be rocking up in the Big Apple, Serena Williams.
Yes.
And I do want to say, because obviously in tennis, we don't particularly like innovations and we don't like to change anything, and everyone's going to start throwing rocks at the building because they probably didn't think of it first. But if the mixed wasn't the event that the USTA have made it, this wouldn't be happening, Serena and Carlos. Right. It wouldn't be happening. He would be just having a practice week, and he would then be teeing it up Sunday, Monday at the start of the US Open. This is simply, in my book, fantastic for tennis. There is no negative here.
There's absolutely no negative. And
I don't think there's anything to discuss.
By the way, when this came up, it was something new. We had no idea how it was going to go last year. Turned out to be such a giant success. This is something that everyone has now looked forward to all of 2026. All the players have been talking about who they're going to play. The conversations behind the scenes have been so fascinating. Who's going to partner up with who? I know people that feel like, you know what, I'm a prom date because there are all these people that are asking me to go right now. That's how excited the players have gotten. And a chance during Fan Week to be able to come and watch them play. And as Taylor Fritz said here, I love it because you get the actual competition feel that you can never feel on a practice court. These players want to win. There's a good check there, but there's also pride on the line. And it's not like you got a couple of names here and there. This thing is stuck. Carlos Alcaraz and Serena Williams, okay, otherworldly, that's sort of a one-of-one team. But everyone is out there playing. Djokovic and Sabalenka, another otherworldly team. Tiafoe's in there, Leylah Fernandez. The combinations are so fun, and it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, so maybe two new pairs that we didn't expect. Schneider is going to play with Ruud because Iga Swiatek pulled out.
Oh, she did pull out, okay.
Yes, and Jess, because her beloved partner, Jack Draper, pulled out, she will be teaming up with Taylor Fritz. So that's
Good
going
team.
to be, because Rybakina also with the ankle issue, she has also pulled out. So here we have. And the only note I have for the Serena Alcaraz thing is, don't make the fans wait. Why are we waiting for you to confirm this? Why are you putting comments on the Instagram? I don't want to be waiting for this. I want to know right away because I have zero patience.
You got to tease. You got to tease, and then you drop the big news.
We're not teenagers anymore where you wait 4 days to text the other back. You text back, yes, I want to go and have pizza with you.
A woman who plays no games.
No games.
Yes, okay,
So Carlos here with the opportunity to get a slam before the slam.
Oh, yeah, true.
By the way, how does this work? One of these teams win. Is that a slam under the belt?
Yeah.
Are we going with that?
It's a major.
What do we think, Petko?
Does it? So, if a 4-1, 4-2, 4-1 next-gen result goes into the head-to-head of the ATP, this goes into a major title.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like I'm feeling a little bad energy from
well,
left to right.
You're earning a major in 2 days.
Listen,
also,
that is true.
which is wild.
Yeah.
But it's as good in a competitive event as it gets. I'm just curious, does it count as a major?
Innovation in sport is everything. I mean,
Petchey loves it.
Yeah,
Petchey just wants to shake it up.
The NFL became the sport that it did because it threw the ball forward. If it had always thrown the ball backwards, they would have been all dying on the the field that they were. The NBA became the NBA because the bright Yale students decided that you can pass to yourself, because originally in basketball, you pass the ball and you had to stand still. The Yale students went, do you know what? That's called passing. I'll pass it to myself. And that was the invention of the dribble. This, for me, the mixed doubles event, is just an invention of what we needed. We needed to change things. We've got all the players. It's done exactly what the USTA wanted to do on the 10. For me, it's a major. Just because it's not a major as it was, it's still a major. These are great players. To win this tournament, you are going to have to play well.
Yeah,
I'll go with that. I love all those points.
I love that this guy loves innovation who still has a king back in his country. Are you a royalist? Are you a royalist?
Absolutely. If I wasn't a royalist, I'd be paying even more in taxes. Are you kidding? They come over there and they're bucket loads to look at Buckingham Palace. Yeah.
Okay, choose your partner from any era on the history ever. Oh, me too.
I would only play with you.
Prakash, sorry, we are taken. Excuse me, it's Petchko for the win.
Okay, so Serena's gone.
Serena's gone.
And any partner in their prime?
Any partner in their prime from any era?
Well, I guess I'll go with Venus.
Ooh,
the
nice.
biggest serve in the game.
And you both serve and volley us?
Well, there we go. There we go. A little old school.
Love
that could have been fun. That could have been fun.
Petchko against Prakash and Venus.
I'm sorry, Danny. I was hoping he was going to put you off. He went with Venus.
If I needed
I've seen your forehand, Danny. It's more, and we know that his backhand on the ATP website says unknown.
Yeah, can we talk to the ATP about that? We got to have some ATP representative here. Ridiculous.
We've still got a lot more to talk about. We're particularly going to chat about the Wolf in Winter. We've really got an exciting week of Big T podcasts coming up. It is a very, very special week. Wednesday, August the 26th, special guest Paul Annacone with stories about the one and only Roger Federer Hall of Fame preview show. Of course, Mary Carrillo also going in for her unbelievable broadcasting career. Saturday is when the Hall of Fame episode drops on August the 29th. Newport, Rhode Island, will be recording that as Roger and Mary go into the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. And during the US Open, Isla Tomjanovic is going to join the Big T. As you can see there will be episodes every single day. Looking forward to the Big T over the course of the next 3 weeks, which it will be. Roger's going into the Hall of Fame. One man that will be going into the Hall of Fame, but we don't quite know when, and especially if you have watched his documentary, The Wolf in Winter, because in it he says could be 1 year or it could be 15. I've watched it. I've got some thoughts. I absolutely loved it, firstly, but Prakash, I know you have watched it. What did you think?
I thought it was brilliant. I don't want to give too much away. It's 1,000% something you have to watch, especially if you have any interest, not just in tennis, but in greatness and how people of this caliber may tick. Everyone's unique, and Novak is no different. My favorite part about it is I'm a huge fan of superhero movies. And of all the superhero movies, I'm a fan of origin stories. And I think here we get to understand why Novak is able to dig so deep and where he's able to dig so deep from.
Is it like a whole career retrospective, or do they focus on one thing? It
goes through his entire career because it's an interesting journey he had, how he developed from where he came onto the tour to the GOAT that he is. But if you go all the way back to his childhood, and what happened there, I think there's so much you can pull from there to here. And then in addition to that, the star for me was Jelena. Jelena was absolutely magnificent. And she's been behind the scenes supporting Novak so wholeheartedly all these years.
For those who don't know?
His wife, yes. She opens Novak up in a way that we haven't seen before. And we get to see another side of Novak through Jelena. And because of that, it becomes this very fascinating contradiction in this man with this huge heart who's so generous and giving, family man, loves his children and family more than you could imagine. And at the same time, he's this wolf out there on the court. And he's just been this absolutely brilliant killer on the court. And having those two sides and understanding that story, I just thought was so unbelievably fascinating.
Well, he is a Gemini, but what did you think, Mark Petchey?
Honestly, I couldn't respect him more.
Yeah.
I couldn't admire him more. Came away from watching the documentary admiring him even more. Not that I thought that was possible. Yelena was incredible.
Yeah.
Very grateful to look at a documentary like that and feel like when he does step away, he's going to be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
They've given him a base to go off, and let's be honest, not everyone that's gone into the Hall of Fame have gone on to live lives that have been, you know, what you feel they should be able to do once they've achieved so much. I think the thing about Novak as well is that most people live their lives a bit like a river. They want to find the path of least resistance. Here's a guy that walked onto the tour, and he had 2 giant granite dams of greatness that he had to break down. And they were beloved by the public. And to watch him do what he needed to do to kind of not just equal them, but then surpass them, was phenomenal. I would like them to dig more under the hood. I mean, I know it was the same director who you've interviewed that did The Last Dance. I feel like there needs to be a bit more separation in time, probably for Novak, Roger, and Rafa. But I would like to dig under the hood a little bit more about, you know, the sacrifice, the darkness, where the drive came, some of the sort of obviously where he pulled from the negative energy to drive him in those kind of moments.
You would have liked to see that more?
I would have liked to have seen a little. There were moments in it where you can feel it.
Because that was in the Rafa documentary, that was sort of the focus, right? I mean, not the focus, but you could tell the sacrifice and his body, how beat down it was to be able to achieve greatness. You would have liked to see that more?
Yeah, a little bit more. And also just a little bit more, but that's just me as a real fan.
Right.
Like, I want to go under the hood. I want to feel it. What I will say just finally is what I did find interesting is basically what we look at this stage of his career as success. To Novak, it looks like failure dressed up as a check. And we're going, oh, this is incredible. You're still making the final of Australia. And he's just like, yeah, that's not good enough. But I do think I walked away from it, and there's a quote by Carl Jung, which you'll know because you're much brighter than I am. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that is what I felt when the credits rolled. He has become who he needed to be and who he is. And I think can't ask for more than that.
We may, I mean, hopefully there's so much more of the Novak story to tell. So hopefully when he ends up leaving the tour, don't know when that may be, we do get to learn even more. But to your point, when I interviewed Jason Ayre, who is just a brilliant storyteller in this aspect, must have seen The Last Dance 20 times, he talked about what was so fascinating to him was never have they been able to dig so deep into a GOAT, a superstar athlete, while they are still at the prime, competing against the absolute best in the world for the biggest titles. It is normally after, and the voice ends up being a little different. So you get to hear this while he's still in the trenches with Alcaraz, with Sinner, with the rest of the tour, which gives it a different lens as well.
I love that. I'm going to watch it. I don't have, it's on Amazon Prime, if I believe correctly. Yes. I don't have an Amazon Prime account yet, but thank God I have friends that will for sure give me the access so I can watch The Wolf in Winter, go watch The Wolf in Winter. And I'm really excited for this US Open on the women's side. I think the women have delivered from Toronto over Cincinnati, over Washington. They were incredible. But I am excited also because we talked about him, Novak Djokovic possibilities at the US Open, because you mentioned earlier how open the draw is with unknown about Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner not being there, Alexander Zverev, the other favorite, having struggled a little bit with the 2 absent. Maybe it's Novak Djokovic 25 time.
We saw it. We saw it in Australia. A couple of things fall into place, some shorter matches, a couple of people lose here and there, things can happen. And there he took out Jannik Sinner, and he ended up losing to Carlos Alcaraz. But here, they're both not there. We don't know if he'll be in the same section as Alcaraz. Who knows? He may get a clean shot here where he doesn't need to play an Alcaraz, a Zverev, whomever. Anything can happen in New York, and Novak winning number 25 is absolutely on the table.
I think he's got a chance. He's definitely got a better than a puncher's chance with everything that's happened. If he can get through the first week relatively unscathed, Yeah, it's going to get even more exciting than it already is.
And all the Americans we've talked about. I mean, this whole U.S. Open is just going to be insane, start to finish.
It's going to be insane. Tune in. We will have it all on Tennis Channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe our beautiful podcast, the best podcast in the world, The Big T. If you are not listening to us yet, what are you even doing with your life? Find us everywhere where you find your podcasts and on the Tennis Channel app and on YouTube too. See you next time.
The Big T. The Big T.